The superstar's curse, when millions aren't enough. The cameras flash, the ink dries, and the stadium erupts in applause. He just signed the deal of a lifetime, $20 million over 4 years. A contract that could erase generations of struggle. A paycheck big enough to make headlines, to inspire kids, to silence every doubt he's ever carried. He walks into the locker room, chest high, smiling tight, already imagining the calls he'll make, the homes he'll buy, the legacy he'll build. His teammates rise to greet him, some with daps, others with nods. A few claps echo off the lockers. And then someone says it, casually, like it's nothing. Yo, you hear what they gave Marcus? 25, full guarantee. Silence. The air shifts. It's microscopic but undeniable. 25. The number loops in his head, louder than the cheers outside, heavier than the pen he just dropped. He laughs it off, tries to... That's love, he mumbles, avoiding eye contact as he slides his new cap deeper over his eyes. But it's already too late. The moment of glory is gone, not stolen, but swallowed, because now that 20 doesn't feel like a win. It feels like second place. $5 million ago, he was a king. Now, just another guy who almost made it. The celebration fades, replaced by a creeping emptiness he can't explain. He sits down, suddenly cold despite the heat of the room, staring at his phone, scrolling through comments, looking for something, anything that says he's enough. But all he sees are the numbers, the comparisons. Marcus got 25. Damn, he's the real MVP. 20 for this dude should have paid him less. And just like that, the joy evaporates. He thought he made it, but the goalpost just moved again. He watches Marcus walk in. Same team, same locker room, same dream, but $5 million ahead. And for the first time, envy walks beside him, disguised as motivation. He smiles through it because that's what they do. But inside, a war begins. Not against Marcus, against himself. A quiet voice whispers, "Why not me? What did I miss? Was I not good enough?" The celebration turns into analysis, pride turns into pressure, and $20 million turns into not enough. This is the curse no one talks about. The disease of comparison. The quiet cancer of success that's never quite enough. Because the moment you tie your worth to a number, the number will always rise. And your peace? It will always fall. The scene ends with him alone, scrolling through numbers that don't love him back, wearing a new contract, but carrying the same old question. If $20 million isn't enough, whatever will be. The hidden virus. What envy does to the mind. Greed wants more. But envy wants more than you. That's the difference, and it's deadly. Morgan Housel says it bluntly. Your happiness depends less on your circumstances and more on how they compare to those around you. It's not about what you have. It's about who's standing next to you. And whether they've got a little more shine on their watch, a little more square footage in their kitchen, a few more zeros on their bonus check. That's the poison envy pours into your peace. You buy a car you love until your neighbour rolls up in something newer, sleeker, louder. You feel good about your job until your college friend posts about their promotion, their new title, their office view. You're proud of your vacation until you see an influencer sipping cocktails in Santorini, sponsored, filtered, and followed by millions. And suddenly, what once felt like enough now feels small, average, embarrassing. Envy doesn't just steal your joy, it rewrites your goals. It twists clarity into confusion, ambition into addiction, progress into paranoia. You stop chasing dreams that matter to you and start chasing trophies that belong to them. And the more you get, the emptier it feels, because there's always someone with more. Envy is a moving target, a hunger that grows with every bite. It convinces you that you're behind, even when you're miles ahead of who you used to be. It whispers that success isn't a destination, it's a race. And if someone else is winning, then you must be losing. But the truth, there is no finish line. There's just you, your values, your version of peace. Housel warns us, the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. And envy? It keeps that goalpost running circles around your self-worth. You don't need to be richer than your neighbor. You don't need to outshine your peers. You need to reclaim your definition of enough before envy defines it for you. Because envy doesn't just make you want more. It makes you forget why you wanted anything in the first place. Wall Street's trap, the game no one wins. He had everything. A Park Avenue penthouse, a 7-figure bonus, a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city that never sleeps. But he couldn't sleep either, because this year he ranked second. Not broke, not losing money. Just second. His hedge fund brought in $120 million in returns, an obscene number by any sane metric. But the guy across town, the one he used to intern with, he cleared $140 million, and that was enough to shatter him. This wasn't about wealth anymore. This was about scoreboard living. Every win had to be bigger, faster, louder. The moment he checked that list of top performers and saw his name in silver instead of gold, his jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed, and something inside him snapped. He stayed late that night, not to celebrate success, but to fix it. He combed through every trade, hunting for the one that cost him the crown. Sleep became a nuisance, meals a distraction. All that mattered now was next quarter's ranking. He started taking bigger risks, bets that looked smart on paper but kept him pacing at 3 a.m. His wife noticed first. He was irritable, distant, twitchy with his phone. The stress wasn't making him sharper, it was making him sloppy. He wasn't losing to the market, he was losing to himself. Morgan Housel said it best. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. But that's exactly what he was doing. He had more money than he could ever spend, but he couldn't stop, because someone else had more. And in his mind, that meant he wasn't enough. Every bonus became a benchmark. Every deal, a duel. Every colleague, a competitor. This is Wall Street's trap, the game no one wins, because even when you're winning, you're still behind someone else. And behind every massive return is a man breaking quietly under the pressure to top it, again and again and again. You can feel the madness in the silence of his office. Screens glowing, coffee cold, eyes bloodshot, hands trembling over the next trade. He doesn't need the money anymore. He needs to win, and that need is eating him alive. This is how people with everything lose peace. Not because they're losing, but because they didn't win by enough. They bet on sanity for prestige, health for headlines, family for fleeting validation. And still, it's never enough, can't it? Because on Wall Street, the scoreboard never turns off. And in that world, the only thing worse than losing is winning second place. The cost of comparison lives burned by envy. It starts small. A glance at someone's house, a scroll through someone's feed, a moment where you think, why not me? Then it spirals. The entrepreneur who scaled too fast, not because the market needed it, but because a rival hit 8 figures first. He maxed out credit lines, hired too quickly, burned through cash to chase a headline. And when the spotlight finally turned to him, he was already drowning. The product wasn't ready. The team was fractured. His health was wrecked, but he looked like a winner until he wasn't. Or the pro athlete who earned $80 million over his career, only to retire broke. Not because he didn't earn enough, but because he had to keep up with teammates who flew private every weekend, dropped 6 figures at nightclubs, and wore watches worth more than most people's homes. So he matched them. One car, one penthouse, one bad investment at a time. And now He's renting alone, watching younger players repeat the same story. Then there's the everyday version. The couple who bought the house they couldn't afford because their friends just upgraded. The guy who leases a luxury car he doesn't even like just to feel seen. The woman who spends more on vacations than she earns in months because it looks good on Instagram. All chasing someone else's dream. With money, they don't have to impress people they don't even like. Morgan Housel calls this the most dangerous financial trap. People don't want to be rich. They want to be richer than the people around them. And that's the curse. Because comparison doesn't just hurt your wallet, it poisons your joy. It makes calm feel like failure. It turns enough into not quite. It kills relationships with resentment and shatters mental clarity with constant invisible pressure. You start living for applause, not peace, for validation, not freedom. It's not just about the money, it's about what the chase costs you. Late nights, debt, stress, anxiety masked with designer clothes and filtered photos. And the tragedy is nobody wins, because even when you catch up, someone else gets ahead. Even when you buy the thing, someone else has the upgrade. And when you finally stop, you don't feel proud. You feel empty because you never wanted the thing. You wanted what the thing meant in someone else's eyes. That's the real price of appearing successful. Not just the dollars you spend, but the identity you lose trying to prove you matter. So ask yourself, how much of your life is yours? And how much is just a performance? The moment of liberation. Breaking the comparison trap. He didn't crash. He didn't go broke. He just got tired. The kind of tiredness that no vacation fixes. The kind of tiredness that seeps into your bones when every win feels hollow. When every celebration is haunted by the shadow of someone else doing better. He was a top-tier athlete. Endorsements, trophies, articles with his face on the cover, but none of it landed because someone always ran faster, always scored more, got paid bigger. Every morning he opened his phone, not to catch up, but to compare. Every achievement turned into a question. Is it enough? And every answer came back. No. Until one day, in the middle of a team retreat, something cracked. He watched a rookie, undrafted, underpaid, unnoticed, jogging laps alone at sunrise, smiling. No cameras, no fans, just a guy who loved the game. And it hit him like a punch to the chest. When did I stop playing because I loved it? When did it become about beating everyone instead of becoming myself? He sat by the lake that evening. No phone, no noise, just stillness. And in that stillness, he let it go. The race, the rankings, the need to prove anything to anyone, and he didn't retire. He just redefined what winning meant. Peace replaced pressure. Gratitude silenced comparison. Joy returned, not as a reward, but as a way of living. Morgan Housel captures it perfectly. The ceiling of social comparison is so high that virtually no one will ever hit it, which means it's a battle that can never be won. He stopped fighting and started choosing. He downsized the mansion, gave up the brand deals that drained him, cut the noise, started mentoring kids at the local rec centre, reconnected with his parents without filming it for content, took quiet walks instead of racing luxury cars. And strangely, he'd never felt richer. Not because the bank account changed, but because the way he measured wealth did. Success wasn't louder anymore. It was calm. It wasn't about more. It was about enough. And in that moment of liberation, he found what he'd been chasing all along. Not an applause, not an admiration, but peace. The kind of peace you only find when you stop trying to be someone else and start becoming yourself. Your mirror, competing with a ghost. Be honest, who are you really competing with? Not officially, or not out loud, but quietly, silently, painfully. Is it the friend who just posted their dream vacation while you're stuck at work? The classmate who just got promoted while you're still waiting for your break? That influencer who somehow always looks perfect, wealthy, and 5 years ahead of where you are? You don't talk about it, but you feel it. That quiet punch in the gut when someone else gets the thing you wanted. The tight smile when you say congrats while swallowing your own disappointment. This is the race no one admits they're running. A race with no rules, no finish line, and no one cheering at the end. Just you, measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. And that ghost you're chasing, they're not real. Because the moment you catch up to one, another appears. Better job, better body, better house, better something. You spend money you don't have to feel like you're not falling behind. You work longer hours, not because you need to, but because you don't want to lose. You say yes to things you don't even care about, just to feel relevant. And what does it cost? Your peace, your clarity, your joy. You wake up tired, not from work, but from comparison fatigue, from scrolling, watching, pretending, performing. But imagine, just for a second, what life looks like without it. What would change if you stopped trying to win a race you never signed up for? If the only person you had to impress was the person in your mirror? What would you build if you weren't wasting your energy keeping up? What kind of love could you feel? What kind of peace could you hold? What kind of decisions would you make if you made them for you, not for applause? Here's the truth. The only competition that matters is the one between who you were yesterday and who you're brave enough to become today. True wealth is peace of mind. Wealth isn't the car in your driveway. It's whether you can breathe easy when the bills arrive. It's not the vacation photos you post. It's whether you can unplug without anxiety clawing at your chest. It's not how much you spend to look rich. It's how little you need to feel free. Morgan Housel puts it simply. You're truly wealthy when you can wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. That's freedom. And it has nothing to do with showing off. Real wealth isn't measured in likes. It's measured in peace of mind. And that peace begins the moment you stop measuring yourself against someone else's life. You don't need to win the race. You just need to stop running it. That's the secret no one tells you. Because the people who've truly made it, they aren't competing anymore. They're resting, building, living. So if you've felt the weight of comparison, if you've chased applause that never felt like enough, if you're tired of running toward a moving finish line, then let this be your moment of clarity. Drop the performance, reclaim your peace, and comment below, I'm done competing. Say it out loud, mean it, let it echo. Because true wealth isn't louder, it's quieter. It's in silent mornings without stress, in humble confidence, not loud ambition, in knowing who you are without needing to prove it. And it begins not when you get more, but when you decide that what you have is finally enough.